What's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang coming to you live right here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Another episode of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. Really appreciate it. As always, got a lot of good things to talk about here in the NASCAR world, man. Great race there at Las Vegas. We're going to recap it. We're going to do the who's hot, who's not. We're going to go through the whole spiel, as we always do, man. So if you're new or if you tuned into the show before, you know the way we like to start it out. We started out with the word of the day. So basically the way this works, every time I say this word, you're going to take a sip of your favorite adult beverage. I always say it's age appropriate. If you're under the age of 21, you want to play, hey, it's Wednesday, stay up late, drink your Kool-Aid, find something with some sugar in it, man, and do your thing. But last week's word of the day was tires. So as we talked about, we've had some issues throughout the beginning part of this season with these new tires, a little bit more low profile than what we're used to, no interliners. So I'm sure I said that quite often. If you played along, I'm sure you, probably had a little good buzz by the time the show was over, man. But thank you guys. So this week's word of the day, have no idea what it's going to be. Lawrence is going to throw it somewhere up here. But every time I say that word, make sure you take a sip of your favorite adult beverage, all right? So moving right into some NASCAR news, hey, I mean, what more way to start it off, better way to start it off than to sit here and say Alex, the Showman Bowman, comes home with another win there at Las Vegas. Not under scrutiny. There's some things that were said. We're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show, but hey, man, what an awesome, awesome thing. But I do want to go ahead and say prayers and condolences go out there to driver of an ARCA car hauler that passed away in an accident there headed to Phoenix this week. David Gilliland's hauler driver, Scott Stotts, passed away in that accident. Do want to give a big, prayers and condolences, and we're with y'all. Hope everything goes as good as possible, heal quickly, and sorry for your loss out there, man. But yeah, horrible, horrible thing there. Hey, it's official, man. We've talked about it numerous times on the show here. Floyd Mayweather is an official NASCAR owner, not just fielding a car in a race. He is going to try to be a full-time deal, man, which is going to be interesting over there at what he's doing. But like I always say, when it comes to NASCAR, everybody's welcome. But at the end of the day, you got to pay the cost to be the boss, man. And this isn't boxing. This isn't recruiting and finding natural talent. This is a whole organizational thing that you build. So I don't like to say spend hundreds of millions. We'll say invest a couple $100 million, and you'll probably be competitive and do good at the sport. I mean, you got to get good equipment. You got to get good drivers. You got to get good engineers. It takes time to figure it out. But hey, man, I'm glad. I think Kaz Grala there for him will do what he needs first couple years, and then we'll see where it goes from there and move up. But hey, the more the merrier is what I always say, man. So Ty Gibbs in the Xfinity Series brings home that checkered flag there at Las Vegas. There again, drama-filled, had a little caution break, got into it there, had some heated words exchanged a little bit, got it figured out on pit road. But I tell you what, the kid's got talent. I've said it. Be on the lookout for this kid. If not after this season, I say 2 years. Don't move him up too quick. But there again, who knows? Grandson of Joe Gibbs. He's got a seat somewhere, man, and the kid's got talent. He's proven he's a winner. He goes out and races with the best and locks down these races in clutch moments. So great win there for Ty Gibbs again at Las Vegas, man. So former NASCAR star, hey, Ryan Newman news dropped last week. I didn't talk about it, but I'm talking about it this week. SRX Racing, man, he's going to join on Ray Evernham, Tony Stewart's deal over there at SRX. A lot of cool things are happening with that racing this year. If you haven't kept up with it or have any idea about it, make sure you check it out. Both Dave Blaney and Ryan Blaney are gonna race in a race coming up soon. Father-son duo racing against each other. I mean, you got some big names over there, really do. I mean, a few of them here. Let's see, you got Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, Haley Deegan. All these people are slated to participate in SRX racing. I think it's a great deal. I tell you all the time, I'm a huge race fan. I love NASCAR, but I love all forms of racing. Make sure you check that out for sure, man. Danica Patrick, man, made a guest appearance up there in the booth at the start of the season. We saw Tony up there. We've seen Matt Kenseth up there. Now we see Danica up there. I think she did a great job. I think she could definitely fit in up there, throwing her in a few different races, different outlook on it. But she did a good job to me, man. Great little deal there. And I love what NASCAR's doing, bringing former drivers and former people in through the sport to commentate and call some races, man. I think that's absolutely awesome. So, hey, Want to give a big shout out. Make sure you go check us out. Like, share, follow all our social media out there. Instagram, Facebook. We're on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, AtlantaMan24_7. You can catch me there. It's strictly NASCAR. That's all I use it for, man. But at the end of the day, it is awesome. Make sure you check out Rubbin' and Grubbin' everywhere. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. We got our own YouTube channel. Like, share, follow. Subscribe to that. The more followers we get on it, the more money we're able to raise here at the charity events we do at Coaches. The more eyes we get on our causes. Ultimately, that's what it's all about, man. So make sure you go out, like, share, follow, subscribe to that YouTube channel. Greatly appreciated, man. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. I got to pause for station identification right here on Coach's Corner Sports Network. Cheers, y'all. All right, so on to some more NASCAR news, man. Something that's kind of been swept under the rug a little bit, and I'm not bringing no drama up to it, but it's what's going on with Alvin Camaro, man. So if you kept up with it, last year Alvin Camaro was designated by NASCAR and hired by NASCAR in that diversity program to be a leader in development in diversity, right? I'm not this type of person, but he got in an altercation at a nightclub in Las Vegas, charged with assault with, assault with substantial bodily harm. So that tells me he whooped somebody's ass, unfortunately. Swear bucket. I got to throw $1 in. All right. That tells me Alvin Camaro done whooped somebody's ass in a nightclub at Las Vegas. That's personal deal. At the end of the day, I don't think it prevents him from doing either job on the football field or for NASCAR. So that's why there's probably not much drama being brought up by NASCAR about it. Is it a good look? No, it's not a good look. It's never a good look, but he knows that. He's a grown man. It's not a good look for his brand. It's not a good look for the NASCAR brand. But at the end of the day, it happens, man. We're all adults. We get heated. Things happen. Hey, it happens, man. Let it go out there, man. You got former Formula One driver, and I had Tassaros Marquez, something along those lines. He's going to be competing in NASCAR for the first time coming up very soon. Hey, man, like I say, welcome, my friend. Different beast over here. There's no traction control. It's a totally different animal. Tires aren't as wide. Get ready to have some fun out there driving this car because you're going to have to wheel this car, man. Hey, want to give a big shout out there to one of the main sponsors outside of Coaches, my man Parker Eccles over there at Arbor Man Tree Service. Sponsors one of my favorite part of the show coming up, man. But I say it all the time. Great dude, locally owned and operated. Call him for any kind of needs you need with tree service, man. If you want to estimate tree removal, stump grinding, limbs cut back, whatever it may be, give Parker a call over there at Arbor Man Tree Service. He's definitely going to come take care of you. And as I always say, no job too big, too small, no tree too tall. Give Parker a call. I love you, man. I'll see you here next weekend, man. Not this weekend, but next weekend he'll be in Atlanta with Atlanta, man, up there at the race. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to see you, man. Love you, dude. Hey, but moving right in, sponsored there again by Arbor Man, the Checkered Flag for Charity. If you guys have been watching the show, this is something that we do every single year, man. We pick out multiple charities or we pick out a person in need. Whatever it may be, it all stays local right here in the Savannah area to help somebody out that needs help, man. So there again this year, I've chosen a friend of my family personally and me personally and my wife, Miss Aubrey Thompson's daughter, Payson Thompson. Her mother passed away unexpectedly. We're raising money up here this NASCAR season for an educational fund for her. She is survived by her father and her grandparents, but at the end of the day, I like to help people that need the help, and this is something that's going to help a child that's already going through a great time of grieving, man. So at the end of the day, this is what it's all about, educational fund for. What we do up here on Rubbin' and Grubbin' for the Checkered Flag for Charity is whatever car number wins that race, that's what we donate in this bucket, man. So if you keep up with the sport, hey, last week was a pretty good little hit right there for it, man. That's $48 right there. The 48 car of Alex Bowman, $48 go into that. I tell you what, with the help from everybody up here at Coaches, the patrons, the staff, the waitresses, the bartenders, the management, the owners, everybody's help up here at Coaches, $747 has been raised, and we're going on week 4. We're in 4 weeks, man. So if we can keep this up and keep it going, we're in good shape. Like I say, stay tuned. We do a lot of good things. We do Cooler Full of Joys. I have a summertime package here coming up in April that's going to be beach chairs, a Cooler Full of Joy. We're going to do all kinds of different things, man. It's going to be a summertime beach package to get ready for the beach season. It's going to be raffled off right here at Coach's at one of these badass concerts that John Henderson puts on up here at Coach's, man. So make sure you stay tuned for that date. Know when you can do it. It's going to be an awesome time, man. But thank you guys so much for that. So moving right in, man, we'll get on that Las Vegas recap. What a race it was, to be honest with you. I mean, that's one of the better races I've seen in the last 4 or 5 years for sure. I mean, we had lead changes, we had cautions, we had problems. We had guys going from the back to the front and from the front to the back, and it never seemed like one guy had a dominant car. You know, when you talk about it, pit strategy came into play at the end of the race, as we'll get into, and that's how these things happen sometimes. But for what we've seen so far out of this next-gen car and what NASCAR is doing, I tell you what, beyond not necessarily the tire situation of what happens losing a tire, but how many laps and being penalized you lose when you blow a tire and can't drive back, that's got to get fixed. But I think the tire itself is fine. We just got to figure out a different rule change there. But I tell you what, with it, it has made it exciting. You have a lot more cautions. You have a lot more restarts, which we'll talk about here in another segment of the show. But an awesome race from Vegas, man. Sin City never disappoints for sure. So when you look at it, hey, Alex, the showman, Bowman, comes home with another win, man. Now, here's something I'm going to talk about a little bit. And I'm going to say this. Everybody kind of talks about lucking into a win, right? That he's the luckiest guy, that he's never went out and actually dominated and won a race or this and that. You know, there's a lot of guys through their career, man, that didn't go out and dominate a race, but actually coming home with the checkers. All it takes is to be in the right place at the right time in the right situation and bring the checker home. It doesn't matter if you were the best all day or not. The only lap that matters is the one when those white and black checkers come out. That's the only one that matters, man. So at the end of the day, big shout out to Alex Bowman doing his thing. Hendrick is absolutely killing it. 2 races out of the first 3 come home to that Hendrick camp, with Kyle Larson winning at California, Alex Bowman winning here. I tell you what, Phoenix, they got a good shot to win Phoenix too. You'll have to wait and see who I took in my top 5 later on in the show. But at the end of the day, Hendrick got a pretty good chance to go out and win this one as well, man. Kyle Busch, I talk a lot about him. I give him a lot of stuff, but let me tell you, I don't think I've ever probably seen a driver that comes over more adversity than him. Not only outside of, you know, being behind the wheel, outside of that race car, in the public, and being outspoken and kind of having an ego and carrying a chip on his shoulder. Never been my cup of tea, right? I say you do it on the field, you know, a mouth will say anything is what I say. But at the end of the day, I tell you what, for what he's had to begin the season with, the troubles we saw at California, 4 laps down, spinning out early in the race, rebounds, come back, finish 14th. This week, so much trouble in practice, comes out, has a dominating race car, man. I mean, he did. He got out front, he led it, comes all the way down to that very end, coming to take the white flag, boom, caution flag comes out, Eric Jones hit the wall. Obviously, we come in for tires. Tires mean everything. Gibbs decides to take 4, Hendricks takes 2, and that ultimately cost him. The track position ultimately cost him. Now, I say if there's 5 laps instead of 3 in a shootout, which I like a little more, I don't like the fact we take a green, we come back around, it's the white, and then it's done. I say 5 laps would be awesome, something we should kind of tweak a little bit. 5 laps would be great. I think those tires probably would have paid off. He would have been able to get that momentum up. He would have definitely probably been up there to contend. Just didn't work out that way. But at the end of the day, hey, didn't come home with the win, but he had a good finish, and that's what it's all about early in the season, stage points, consistency, man. So be on the lookout for that. So, hey, got to give a big shout-out again to Ross Chastain there at Las Vegas. Probably the most dominating car out of the day. Led a lot of laps, 30, 40-plus laps. I know the higher end of guys we saw lead the race, he led a lot of laps. And that speaks volumes for where Trackhouse is at. We've seen Daniel Suarez have a really good run. Then we turn around and see Ross Chastain have a really good run. So they're hitting on some cylinders there. They're getting the ball rolling in the right direction. As a very new team, I think this is very important. We just got to get the consistency down. Week in, week out, top 12, top 15s, top 5s when you can get it. That's going to pay dividends to build that program for sure. So keep it up, man. Last but not least, I got to give a big shout out to Stacking Pennies host out there, Corey LaJoy. Man, I tell you what, Awesome run there by him. We do a little game of skill up here at Coach's. I had the 47 at Stenhouse. John, the owner, actually had the 7 of LaJoy. LaJoy came home in 15th. Man, I tell you what, a great top 15 run there for Corey LaJoy. I think that's awesome. I think that when you see an underfunded team like that be able to compete and put themselves in position to be 15th, speaks volumes on where we're at right now in the sport, man. So you always got to keep in mind this is going to change. The more data we get, the better we're going to get. But for right now, love seeing the small teams get good runs, man. So before we move into my second favorite segment there, who's hot and who's not, pause for station identification right here on Coach's Corner Sports Network, y'all. Cheers, man. All right, so moving right into the who's hot and who's not. We're not going to change who's the top dog on this list this week. Kyle Larson is going to remain with the crown on his head, named king right here on the who's hot and who's not, man. Look, to win at California, native home, state track, great deal there. But to come back and go to Las Vegas, man, and go out and perform the way he did, falling back through the field, coming back up there late in the race, had some stuff happen, had to go back through the field, come back up, lines up on the outside in second, contending for this win, and raced a teammate extremely clean. And I gave him a little bit of hell last week about Elliot. This was nowhere near that. I mean, it was side by side, side drafting, giving each other room. They both washed up there at the end in 3 and 4. Bowman just happened to inch him out and get that win, man. Great race right there by Kyle Larson. He's going to stay hot. He's been the most consistent all year long. He's showing why he's a 2021 NASCAR champion. And to be honest, I expect a repeat champion coming out of the Hendrick stable. I'm not going to name a name. There's only 2 of them over there, so you can guess. But I'm telling you, one of these 2 guys, I feel like, with the way that things are figured out, it's a repeat championship for Hendrick. That'd be 3 in a row right there for Hendrick Motorsports, man. Keep that in mind. Hey, I tell you what, when you look at it, you got to tip your hat to Hendrick Motorsports, man, making second on the list right here. Alex Bowman getting a win, Kyle Larson getting a win. 2 out of 3 points-paying races have come home to the Hendrick camp. Not only that, just the way that they've run and performed as a group. They had a little bit of drama. I love a rivalry between Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. I think that's going to only make them grow better as race car drivers, only make them compete harder and race against each other. I love it. But I tell you what, as of right now, Hendrick is probably one of the strongest organizations that I see in the sport, man. Hands down, point blank, period. Third on the hot list, man, we got a lot of hot to talk about, not so much not. But, hey, Chevy is absolutely dominating this next-gen car racing so far. If you go back from Daytona to Las Vegas, Daytona to California to Las Vegas, Chevrolet is killing it. There again, Chevrolet came home in the winner's circle twice. Last week, 6 out of the top 10 cars were all Chevrolet. Gibbs is struggling a little bit, hadn't quite got the finishes yet. Ford's had a couple good runs. They were winning the 500 with Cindric. Toyota's had a couple good cars. But those big 3, Hendrick has it figured out. Chevy has it figured out, man. Tyler Reddick dominating in California, doesn't win, but a Chevy comes home with the win. If you go back and look, like I said, last 3 races, Chevrolet, hands down, best performing manufacturer we've seen so far this season. Season's still young. We got a lot to figure out. We'll see if some of these other manufacturers can catch up with Chevrolet and keep it competitive. But at the end of the day, as of right now, Chevrolet, those bow ties are absolutely killing it, man. So on the who's not, and this is the first guy that came to mind, and it's not necessarily talking bad about him or putting him down. It's just the way you started the season. And that's going to be the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, we're so used to seeing him come out during the Daytona 500 and contend for that win and run really good and get a good finish and be there at the end. And it didn't happen this year. And then we go to California, and he had issues. And then last week at Vegas, he drove without power steering. I mean, kudos, man. Big deal there. Lost it. Transmission problem. Lost something there at the end of the race. Bad finishes all the way around for Denny. Now, this is the guy that came in the top 5 for a championship odds of winning the championship there. He was a top 5 contender. So I think he's going to get it together. He's been doing this long enough. I would really hope, there again, with being such a big organization of JGR, having Denny behind the wheel, knowing this probably be his last, could be his last 2 to 3 years there before he maybe goes drive his own or goes somewhere else. At the end of the day, I think they'll get it figured out. I think they're going to definitely win a race as they normally do during the season. It's just consistency factor right now. He's got to get this new car figured out. and he's got to get the feel for it, which is key. A lot of folks don't understand when you go through so many years of racing, it's just a feel. It doesn't matter if we change cars or if we change components. It's about how the race car feels when you're behind it. And as long as they have the feel, it doesn't matter. They'll drive it. So I think a lot of guys struggling right now are having a hard time with that. But, you know, he's going to get it figured out. So the other guy on here, and I had to fight really to come up with another guy to put on here, and it's got to be Brad K. You know, we've seen so much success come out of the Penske camp in the 2-car there with Bad Brad, and won a championship for Roger, won a lot of races over there, and we go on to the 6, and, you know, it's going to be a revamp. I mean, you know, Roush Fenway in my day was one of the biggest organization race winning. I mean, you had Mark Martin, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, so many good, Matt Kenseth, so many good guys came through that organization for so many years. And then it just kind of fell off a little bit. So it's kind of the revamp with Keselowski over there. It's going to take him some time to kind of get it figured out. But at the end of the day, he's had horrible, horrible luck there at Daytona, being aggressive, decent finish. Last 2, not so much. As we saw at Vegas, spun out, pissed Ryan Blaney off a little bit. Hey, man, it's just the nature of the beast. It's going to take him a while to get it figured out, but I expect him to. But at the end of the day, right now, he's on the who's not list. So moving right into the Phoenix preview, I mean, this is a great track, unique in its own right. It's been reconfigured. The restarts here are absolutely insane. Cutting through that dog leg, people cut that corner on the inside so crazy. 5, 6, 7 wide sometimes, and then we all got to go back in form. So I love restarts there. Tires and handling are going to be key here. I think handling, tires not so much, but handling is going to be a key issue here, and you're going to see what a lot of teams have learned about this next gen here at Phoenix. Not only that, it's the spring race for where we run for a championship. This is the last race of the year, the host of the last race of the year. So the statistical data you get based off this one race right here is going to pay dividends on starting to build that car. And you can guarantee teams are going to start building that car the weekend after Phoenix. So the next week, we're building championship cars. So you're going to take what you learned through the season, plug it in. You're going to take what you learned statistically off this and plug it in. So it means a lot to be able to go out there and contend and run every lap, not to wreck out, not to have issues. So we'll see what they can do out there, man. But, hey, track where like I said, champions are made. Hey, Martin Truex Jr. brought this home last year. He won in the spring. Logano finished second. We're going to see what he can do this year. You're going to have to see on this top 5. It'll surprise you who I have as number 1. And we're going to go ahead and move right on into it, man. So top 5 for me. I got Martin Truex number 1, and it's not so much about what we did last year, because there again we have a brand new race car. Nobody really knows what it's going to do at Phoenix till we get there. But I look over the past couple weeks, right? So we've seen him get decent finishes, 13th and around in that area. And then last week you see him have the best long run car on there. He couldn't get by Kyle Busch. I think kind of maybe burned it up getting there. The run went on a little bit too long. Busch might have saved a little something there, but at the end of the day, had a very dominating car at Las Vegas. So there again, Phoenix, a very good racetrack for him. I'll take Martin Truex, number 1 on my list, to go out and get that first win of the season. So 2 for me is Chase Elliott. The man's due. I mean, he's had really fast race cars. California might have been a win for him. I'm not going to say it was. Nothing's done until the checkers fly, but could have maybe possibly been a win for him, barring the incident with Kyle Larson. Last week, just kind of didn't have it. Kind of fell apart there towards the end of the race. Had some issues there again. I expect that. But Phoenix, a really good racetrack for Chase. I'll take him number 2, man. 3, a guy that has had all kinds of trouble practice qualifying during the race, but still somehow comes home with a decent finish. And that's Kyle Busch. I mean, to lead the race the way he did last week there at Vegas, to come into Phoenix, look for him to be mad and be ready to win a race and go out and run. Barring anything happening, qualifying this and that, I expect Kyle Busch to go out and have a really good run. 4 for me, 22 is Joey Logano. Again, one of the most consistent guys all season long. He's a great race car driver, great ambassador for the sport. I think he's decent so far in the next-gen car, so I'll take him 4 on the list. 5 for me has got to be Kyle Larson. You can't leave Larson off the list. Phoenix, not one of his best racetracks, even though he won there, but it's not one of his best, so I still got to keep him in the top 5. This is a really hard top 5 because there's so many good car numbers. Bowman winning last week, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. The guys that I left out, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, guys that we hadn't quite seen. Harvick's coming. He's getting hot, so keep it. I always say streaky sport, but I think Martin Truex is streaking right now, man. Dark horses, really not getting that dark this week. There again, 2 guys that are streaking in the right direction. Christopher Bell has had fast equipment every single week, just hadn't been able to complete the race, put it all together. Look out for the 20. Hey, the 24 of William Byron, there again, Great race car driver. Now, if you're just trying to bet 20 bucks and win the biggest money you can, a guy that has always run well at Phoenix, whatever equipment he was in, Elliot Jones, man. Elliot Jones, really good runs. Not the good run there or finish there at Vegas, but really good runs. Phoenix has always been a good racetrack for him driver-wise. Look out for Elliot Jones on the darkest of the darkest horse, man. So the money bet, I tell you what, I'm done picking random guys. I'm taking who I took number one again this week. We're going to bet 25 on Martin Truex Jr. We got to win eventually. Once we win once, we're going to get on it, man. We're $100 in the hole so far. We bet on the Clash. We bet on these 3 points paying races. We are not doing good. It was bittersweet. I won the game of skill at coaches last week with the 48, but I lost the money bet with the 5. We had him. He came home second. Hey, man, it's how it goes. But we'll take the 19 this week. I didn't even look at the odds, but I bet they're probably pretty decent. I'm going to say probably in between 8th to 12th best odds, I would say somewhere in there, maybe better. But at the end of the day, I know it'll be a good payout, so we'll inform you. Be on the lookout for the 19, man. So that wraps it up for the rubbing. We are done talking about racing. Now we're going to talk about the grubbing. I tell you, this is one of my favorite things here at Coaches, as almost everything that there is on the menu that's favorite to me. We eat up here all the time. I love it. It is a great place to come out and get a bite to eat. Like I say, come out after the ball practice. Come sit down with the family, have a great meal. Like I said, all locally owned. John and Adele Henderson and the staff here at Coaches are the best ever, man. They are awesome, down-to-earth people. I got one of my favorite people right here coming up, Coach Carl DeMasi, bringing it up to me. If you haven't yet, make sure you check out Coach's shows. He is absolutely phenomenal and a great man at what he does. Very knowledgeable about his sports and awesome ambassador of everything. Great coach right here. Coach, tell us about it.
Well, like I say, every week I'm here with the Carl DeMasi Sports Report. Of course, it's all part of the Coach's Corner Sports Network. But this man started this whole Coach's Corner Sports Network. It's been a lot of fun following him. And I don't know much about race cars, but I know making a lot of left turns is grueling, but people don't give him the credit for that. But once again, check it out. Rubbing and Grubbing every Wednesday night, and then I'll be on Saturday mornings, but it's always a lot of fun, and we got to thank the man behind the scenes.
That's it, Lawrence Bennett, man. The man behind the scenes, Mr. LB himself, produces all the shows, puts a lot of off time into doing what he loves, which is making the best for us to be up here talking about what we love and, doing this for y'all out there, man. So make sure you tune in. Again, Rubbing and Grubbing and Coach Carl DeMasi Sports Report. Can't miss it, man.
Before I get off the stage, how do you like your background?
Dude, this is awesome.
Is this awesome?
Oh, this is amazing.
It's unbelievable.
Man. I mean, this is the coolest, newest thing up here at Coaches. I tell Lawrence all the time. This is actually a picture Lawrence took last year at the NASCAR race. That's how close we are, Atlanta, man. That's how close we are to the racetrack. Right in the center of Turn 2, man. Old Flock Brothers Corral. You can catch us here next weekend. Lawrence and myself will be up there. We're going to do some live feeds. We're going to do some little shorts up there. But if you want to stop by and you're at the race, dead center of Turn 2, you can't miss it. You'll see the Atlanta flag on my back flying.
There it is, right there. Look. There you are.
There it is. That's Atlanta man himself, man.
But once again, always a great job, buddy.
Always a pleasure, Coach. Thank you, man.
Enjoy the food, because I don't get the grub on Saturday mornings.
No, I know, man. I'm going to. This as soon as I get off, these go down, man. So, but like I said, burger sliders, get them any way you want them, cooked to temp, man. I got onions, cheese, lettuce on mine. Usually I'll load them up a little more. The wife's going to eat some. Seasoned fries, cannot miss these. Secret hidden menu item, loaded seasoned fries. Man, I tell you what, the seasoned fries, queso cheese, bacon, jalapenos, it is to die for up here at Coaches. So make sure you come out and get some of this good grub, man. So before we get out of here, I want to give a big shout out there to PJ Zuko, the man, the myth, the legend himself behind the mind, the green, white, checkered. You can catch PJ and myself every single Sunday from 9 to 9:30 right there on ESPN Coastal 104.3. You can catch it on their Facebook. Green, white, checkered, man. Catching you everything up that's happened from Wednesday to Sunday. PJ does an amazing job putting the show on. He does the editing. He does everything, man, getting this to the audience, doing the best that it can be. And I tell you what, it's an awesome show. It's my pleasure to be able to do it with him. PJ, thank you for what you do, brother. Want to give a big shout out, as always, John and Adele Henderson. Thank you guys so much for everything you do, not only for me, but the community. And as well, as I say all the time, Coach's Corner, the best spot in Savannah. Live music. Great food, great drinks, great folks. Got to come check it out, man. And let it not be said, go unsaid. Best place in Savannah to come catch and fill all your sports needs, man. They got everything right here. Coach's Corner, Thunderbolt, Georgia, man. Hey, big shout out there again. We heard Coach Carl up here talking about his shows. I tell you what, man, he knows this stuff. You got to make sure, if you have not tuned into that yet, here Saturday mornings live right here at Coach's Corner, center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. You catch the coach running it down and spitting his knowledge, man. Nothing but knowledge out there. Big shout out there, Travis and Spencer, man, with Hot Grits. Those guys are awesome doing their podcast. You can check it anywhere you catch and stream your normal podcast. Hot Grits, again, talking everything sports, talking local. Funny guys. They put on a great show, man. You get a couple good laughs. It's an awesome. So if you haven't, make sure you check it out. Hot Grits, again. Travis and Spencer doing their thing, man. Coming up, really not long, man, about a month away, we got the 19th hole with the Herb brothers up here, man, talking everything golf. I'm going to make a guest appearance on it. As you see Kyle Busch come up on my show, Atlanta Man will be coming on the golf show. I'm going to give my picks on who I think I'm taking to win the Masters, who I think's moving in the right direction in the golf world, and we'll see what they have to say about it. They're very opinionated. They're very funny. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check that out as well. 19th hole coming up. Want to tell you guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight, as you always do during the Rubbin' and Grubbin' shows. It's greatly appreciated. As I say all the time, make sure you're out there. You hug your loved ones. Give them a big kiss, man. Hold them close. Enjoy your Wednesday night. Get ready for this live action we're going to see here at Phoenix on Sunday at that Cup race. Hey, man, like I said, love y'all. Thank you. Until next time, stay safe. God bless. Wash your hands, y'all.